Hi everyone, my name is Megan Weed and today I'm going to talk to you about constructivism. Constructivism is an educational approach that promotes the idea that we construct our own knowledge. We do this by taking new information and applying it to our own past experiences. Basically, constructivism states that we learn by building on our own previous knowledge. Jean Piaget and John Dewey were instrumental in the creation of constructivism. Piaget's theory that we construct our own knowledge is the basic foundation of constructivism. John Dewey and his emphasis on inquiry-based learning helped shape constructivism as well. Lev Vygotsky and Jerome Bruner are also key in the development of constructivism. Vygotsky's theory that students can learn beyond their current developmental level by working together or working with other adults helped shape the social aspect of constructivism, which is an important part of constructivism. And Jerome Bruner helped shape constructivism with his curriculum changes. He changed the curriculum to actually include constructivist ideas. How is constructivism different? One way constructivism is different is in the curriculum. Traditionally, curriculum would begin with small pieces of information first, and then you would see how those pieces of information fit together to create a bigger concept. Well, in constructivism, it's the opposite. Constructivist curriculum will begin with the big concept first and then expand out to see how the little pieces of information fit together to support that big concept. So the emphasis is on the big concept in constructivism, and in traditional teaching, the emphasis was on basic skills or little pieces of information. Another way that constructivism is different is in the way the students are viewed in the classroom. Typically, in traditional classrooms, students were always viewed as passive recipients of information. Students were expected to sit in their desk and wait for the teacher to tell them what they needed to know. And this is different from constructivism in that constructivist classrooms, students take on a more active role in their education. The student is actually the focus of the constructivist classroom, unlike the traditional classrooms where the teacher is the focus. Another way that the constructivism is different is the way the students work. In constructivist classrooms, students typically work together to complete tasks, and they work in groups. And in traditional classrooms, the students basically would work mostly alone. And this is important in constructivism because, as we know, we construct our own ideas based on our past experiences. Well, each child in the group is going to have different past experiences, and they're going to learn from each other, and each student's going to gain new insights on the information by learning and working together. In constructivist classrooms, teachers are more interactive with their students, and like I said before, the teacher isn't the star of the class. The student is the star of the class, essentially. The focus will be on the students, so that the teachers are there to guide them and assist them, and just to ensure that they're actively learning. And teachers in traditional classrooms are more authoritative. It's less of a team in traditional classrooms. Assessment in traditional classrooms is primarily focused on test scores and right or wrong answers. We now know that this isn't always the best way to gauge comprehension. Although constructivism assessment does include testing as well as right or wrong answers, it mainly differs in that it includes more student input. So it's not just test scores, it's also student observations. It's also the point of view of the student is valued in the assessment. And in constructivist classrooms, the the process is just as important as the actual answer. So you don't just want to see that a student can give you a correct answer. You want to know how they came to that correct answer. The PAR model in teaching means present, apply, and review. Although this may sound familiar, it may sound similar to traditional classrooms, what makes it a constructivist approach in education is the focus on student work. As you see here, I have a graph that basically tells you, it's like a guideline. It shows you how much time should be spent implementing each aspect of PAR teaching. As you see, a maximum amount of time spent presenting should be about 35%. You don't want to spend too much time presenting. And a minimum amount of time spent having the students apply information is about 60%. And about 5% or so should be spent reviewing the new information. Step 1 of the PAR model is to present new information. Like I said before, don't spend too much time doing this. The focus isn't on presenting, it's on applying. And another thing to keep in mind when presenting information is to think beyond traditional lectures. There's a variety of ways to present information, so don't just limit yourself to lectures. Step 2, have the students apply this new information. This is a great time to implement group work. You can have the students actually work together to apply the new information. Step 3 is to review the information. Take a few moments to quickly recap the information. Remember, only about 5% of the time should be spent reviewing. As constructivist teachers, this is a great time to not only summarize what you just taught, but also ask good questions to determine the student's grasp of the new information. Good questions are not yes or no questions. Good questions require critical thinking and problem solving. Here I've prepared a short lesson to just as an example of using the PAR method in class. This is a second grade lesson. It's a literature lesson for second graders, and the first thing I would do with this would be to present this book, One Green Apple, to the class. I would share it by reading it to the class. It's a relatively short book. It should only take about 6 or 7 minutes to share it. And it's about a young girl named Farah and her struggle as an English language learner experiencing an American classroom for the first time. Next, I would have the class break into small groups to discuss our story and our main character. While they are discussing the story, I would have them answer 3 important questions with their group mates. So question number 1 would be, why did it take Farah, our main character, so long to say her first word? Question number 2 would be, if Farah were in our classroom, what could we do to actually make her feel more comfortable in the class? And question number 3 would be find out if anyone in your group actually can speak another language, and then talk about that. After they've actually discussed this question, I give about 20 minutes to answer all these questions and record them. Then I would actually have them stand up and present their information to the class. After they finish presenting the information, I'll take a few moments to review our lesson. I would ask important questions to help determine their grasp of the new knowledge, and I would just take a moment and have the students reflect on their experience as well. Now that I've kind of wrapped up my PAR lesson scenario, I will talk about, let's just do a quick recap of what we've learned about constructivism. Constructivism, as we know it, is the idea that we learn by applying new information to past experiences. Constructivism is different from traditional teaching in the way the students are viewed, the way the students work, the teacher's role in the classroom, how students are assessed, and in the curriculum as well. And a great way to implement constructivism in the classroom is by using the PAR approach. Remember, using that, when you use that, the most important thing is the applying the information. That's all I have today. Thank you.